Dissonant Harmony.
What would you recommend for a cheap setup to record demos?
Well, there are a lot of options.
Yeah.
First
First of all, how cheap?
Yeah.
Are we talking about $20? Are we talking about $100? Are we talking about $1,000? Those are all still, in the world of recording, still cheap.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you can start with a voice memo
Yeah.
on your phone if you
Yeah.
just want to get like some basic things down.
yeah.
You know?
So if you're trying to record song ideas, you could do that. But they say demo, so I'm thinking they want to.
Probably full band, I'm guessing.
Full band.
I'm assuming like drums, bass, guitar, keyboard, vocals,
Yeah.
whatever. Something to get the ideas,
Yeah.
transfer them between members or something like that.
First of all, you would start out either doing, I know there's some multi-track stuff that you can do on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You could do something that way and just record with your phone with like a multi-track tool there. That is not going to sound the greatest. Even if you plug in a mic to your input, it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be great. But if you're looking to do something for $5, $15, $20, $25, whatever it is, like that iRig or whatever it was that they use the guitar plug straight into the phone.
Yeah, and those have gotten a lot better now where they don't just drain the battery and you have to plug it in. You used to have to charge it,
Yeah.
play for like 5 minutes, phone drains, then charge it again.
Well,
But-
now you got the wireless charging, so you can plug it in, just
Ooh.
wireless charge at the same time.
Fancy.
That's fancy. So I would say if you're wanting to get like a demo that you can like give out, say if you're like working on to get gigs or you're working to send to promoters or things like that, you're going to need a computer of some sort. It doesn't have to be great. Software you're going to need would be Reaper and any kind of free VSTs that you can get that you want to use. And I would even go so far as to say, for cheap, I would probably program drums over trying to record them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, especially for demos.
Yeah.
And that could, if you already have an electric kit too, you could always use that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's another pretty easy way of doing it. But yeah, there's actually, I don't know if you've used it before, but it's MD Power Drum Kit 2 is free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so just for anyone that wants a free drum VST, that's a pretty good one.
Okay. I've been on the Slate wagon for a while now.
Yeah,
I just
Slate's awesome.
Keep updating that one.
Yeah.
But you need some sort of hardware to get what you have into your computer, into your DAW, which obviously you would grab Reaper right now. It's free to use forever. You just have like a nagging box you just click through after you wait like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Reaper is really powerful. For the price, it's the best you can get.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I've said it before, but I'm just a fan of Cubase because of my workflow.
Yeah.
But if I'm not using that, I'm always using Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interface, I think you can get by with an older one for $100 maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can find even like the third generation of that Scarlett.
Yes.
You can find. I mean, if you find one of those used, it's not. It's brand new, but it's cheap.
Yeah, and with that you can have your DI is already built in. You can DI straight into it that way. Which DI is just direct input to plug your guitar right in there, and you need some headphones to listen to it on. I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, like a lot of times I know people. I fell into this trap, especially because I got some bad advice from someone that we know. But I got really crappy advice when I first started getting into recording. So I got software I didn't like. I got an interface I didn't want, and it was limited. It was terrible. Thought I had to get like certain gear to get certain results. If you know what you're working with, I mean, even if you're using cheap earbuds or computer speakers or whatever, as long as you know it as like a reference, you know what it's supposed to sound like. I mean, you can do a lot with very, very little.
Yeah.
I've got a friend that he was recording just with it went from a 1/4 inch into whatever connection on his iPad, and then he was just recording that way when he was on tour and stuff like that, just straight onto the iPad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, it's more about like developing your workflow and knowing like what you want. Like I mentioned, I like Cubase only because I do so much with like the programming side of things, and my workflow works for that. It doesn't really. You can do a ton with very little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only other thing you need is a microphone for some things, like if you're doing vocals or if you're doing anything. And that for me is just the Shure SM57. If you can only have one microphone, that's the one you get, and that runs new about $100, and you're gonna be hard pressed to find them for a whole lot cheaper used.
Yeah, and and honestly, I would avoid buying used.
Yeah,
that's probably the most counterfeit or whatever the word is. Microphone.
Oh, that is absolutely true.
Yeah, it's one of there's and if you look it up online, you can see it. Normally, the only difference that you'll see between a true SM57 and the fake is the color of the screw, that tiny little screw that's at the bottom.
Oh wow,
that's the only difference.
Yep.
And unfortunately, over the years of I'm knowing people that have bought them used, I would say probably a third of them were fake.
Wow.
Just because they bought it on eBay or on Craigslist or whatever, and didn't check. But there's a lot of, especially like Chinese ripoffs of microphones.
Oh,
and that is one to be careful of. That's for sure. But yeah,
if I had to have one microphone to use for vocals, if I was trying to record some drums or micing up a guitar cab, it would definitely be that one.
Yeah, it's super. I mean, it's and even though I've used a ton of like really fancy mics, the 57 stands up, right?
Yeah.
So like my favorite combination, even though I was using a Royer 121, which is quite the microphone.
Yeah.
So I was using that with the 57, and that was one of the coolest blends of microphones I've ever used. But I always have the 57 there.
Yeah.
Even if I don't I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever not used it.
Yeah.
I was trying to find an example where maybe I always have it there as a backup and then end up using it anyway, even if I'm playing around with other ones.
So there are some times where it won't really stand out, like overheads on drums, different things like that. But like if you're putting on a guitar cab, if you are recording vocals and you don't have the SM7B or something like for like louder rock vocals, or like a large diaphragm mic, like a Neumann or something.
Yeah.
For like clear vocals, it's gonna be there. It's not gonna be as good as a lot of them, but it's gonna be pretty dang close.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dissonant Harmony.